Okay, in this video we're going to be going through part 2. The drawing is in the link down below if you need to have a look at it. And we'll be going through at a fairly high pace, but if you need to you can always pause it and go back and over everything. Okay, so looking at this drawing, really the only constant cross section is from the top. You could probably do it from the front as well if you really wanted to, but from the top. And from the top we're looking at a centre rectangle, and the dimensions of this is 29 by 40, so 40, 29, and then of course we've got that bit cut out the back. Do that in the same way as the last one. Do the cuts first of all. They're in blue because we've not defined them, but the gap between here and here, just like last time actually, is 30, and this gap is 5. That's okay. Extrude this part, and the total height is 37. Okay. Next we need to cut the slot feature here. That'll allow us to use that information to do all the other extrudes afterwards. So we'll sketch on this plane on the front of the part. Now we're going to use a feature called slot, which is really handy, and it's in most CAD packages. So we're going to draw a line in construction mode on the front, and then we've got to dimension this line first of all. This line is 7mm from the bottom, because that's where the centre of the first radius is, 7mm up, and the distance between the two circles is 10mm. And now we can use this feature called slot. It's under the same one as offset. Slot, click on the line and it creates a slot, and then double click on it to get its dimension, and we're going to change that to 3.5. That's okay, and then we can extrude, remove through all, and we've got that slot feature removed. We can datum a lot of other drawings off that feature. So first one is to remove these bits up here. So sketch on the front. This won't be going through all, so we couldn't do it with the last draw. So it's going to be a corner because it's going from a corner. Actually we can't use a square on this one, but what we can do, I think I'll do, is to draw a line straight across. We can trim away what we don't need in a minute. We can then use the offset tool and offset from our previous drawing. Now this is another 3.5mm out. So we just click on the lines we want to offset, push it in the direction we want to go, left click, and then 3.5. And then scissor, trim, and remove what we don't need. Need to put the edges in, so around here to complete it, the area, and then OK, extrude, remove, and it goes back 19mm. Okay, Now we'll draw the feature here where we remove these bits from the bottom. Again, we can use the offset feature. We'll draw it out there at 3.5. So it's a 7mm radius. That's not so, it's 3.5. Okay. That doesn't quite look right, so let's go back into our sketch we did about there. That was 7mm. That should be a 7mm. Okay, maybe that should have been bigger. 7 diameter. Yeah, that looks more like it. And let's put that in the right place. And now back to the sketch and finish the bits off. So critical dimensions here is that these bits are 5mm each, aren't they, on the edge? And here 5mm. That is not an issue. Okay, now we can extrude that and that, remove and through all. Okay, the last feature is this rib. So you can see on here that on the drawing that actually this rib doesn't come out the whole way, it comes out to 18mm rather than 19. Onshape doesn't allow us to go right to the end of a radius with a rib. So I'm going to sketch on the right plane, and we're going to use construction, this top edge and this edge here, and then use a non-construction line to go from the top to here. That's it, all we need to do now is dimension it. This 18. And then we can use the rib feature, which is quite a nice feature in Onshape. So rib, select the line, and it puts a rib down. And you see it actually puts it right down to this circular bottom. And the thickness of this is 2.5, which is by default anyway. So there we are, draw it, part number 2 complete.